Good evening, everyone. My name is Seamus Sykes, and this is PANR's News of the World, for the latest goings-on in our world. I am joined by Noodle, our English correspondent and co-host, and Ash, our editor and weather specialist. Tonight is Monday, the 6th of September, 2021, and we will be discussing our top story of the night, Hurricane Ida, followed by an update on the ongoing COVID pandemic, taking a look at a variant emerging in South Africa. Following this, we'll be taking a look at Madison in the United States of America and their new policy regarding non-violent emergency calls. After this, we're going to hear what notable deaths occurred this past week. And finally, we'll be closing off with a look at Afghanistan and an attack at the Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul. But first, a weather report from Ash. Ash, if you would.
Thank you, Seamus. Today's weather is coming from Chadshan, India, where currently is 23 degrees C outside and cloudy. High humidity, mild wind, and more than a fair chance of thunderstorms throughout the night, and a moderate rainfall warning across several cities in India. Mild flooding could occur in the coastal area, so we ask those that are in the warning area to keep themselves safe. Back to you, Seamus.
Thank you, Ash. We'll now take a look at our first story of the night. Our top story tonight, Hurricane Ida, and the devastation that she's left in her wake. The storm has affected countless individuals, left many without access to drinking water or electricity in blistering heat. Heat that does not waver to the night, granting no moments of respite for any so affected. We'll be taking a look at the storm's apex, how strong it was, where it hit, and the damages to those communities. First, we'll be taking a look at the storm's apex, how terrifying this beast was. For information regarding this, we turn to our weather expert, Ash.
Thank you, Seamus. Hurricane Ida was a horrifically large storm to see so early in the season. With winds peaking at roughly 230 kilometers per hour and leaving areas with 11 or more inches of rain, the sustained wind speeds made Ida a high-end Category 4 hurricane. Category 4 hurricanes require a sustained wind speed of between 209 and 251 kilometers per hour, though they can have gusts much more powerful, causing incredible damage to anything in the storm's path. Hurricane Ida reached a size of 80 kilometers from the eye, which itself had a wall diameter of 27.36 kilometers. At the time of reaching the United States mainland, Ida was the 5th largest to have ever made landfall. Back to you, Seamus.
Thank you, Ash. A truly terrifying storm. It cleaved through the ocean, through island nations before striking the United States of America. For a better look at the timeline, to see where Ida struck, the lives lost, Noodle has the latest information. Noodle, if you would.
On August 23rd, it was first noted for the potential of a tropical cyclone that would start in the southwestern Caribbean Sea due to a tropical wave that had shown up on scans. Late on August 26th, a flight indicated that the wave had turned into a tropical storm that was 130 miles southwest of Grand Cayman, or 209 kilometers. As it moved through the islands, it got stronger and was a powerful hurricane by the time it hit the northwest of Cuba. When Hurricane Ida hit Louisiana, it was a Category 4 hurricane, and there was severe damage to New Orleans, Golden Meadow, Houma, Galeno, Laplace, and Grand Isle. Everywhere, damage and destruction was all that was left in the wake of the storm, leaving cars and houses destroyed, trees uprooted, and electricity and water damaged and broken. It caused Mississippi to close 15 of its school districts and universities, as well as dozens of their casinos. As of September 4th, a total of 71 deaths have been confirmed in relation to Ida. 27 in New Jersey, 18 in New York, 13 in Louisiana, 5 in Pennsylvania, 2 in Mississippi, 2 in Alabama, 1 in Maryland, 1 in Virginia, and 1 in Connecticut. If you are the families to ones that those are lost, we are so very sorry. Back to you, Seamus.
Thank you, Noodle. Turning now to the effect that Ida has had on the United States. making landfall on Sunday the 29th of August 2021, and destroying infrastructure as she did so, cutting power to over 1 million Americans across the states of Louisiana and Mississippi. Many will be without power for weeks. This includes water treatment centers, which are left with a surplus of tainted waters that they are, at present, unable to process, going so far as to ask residents to limit home water use to prevent overflow of the systems. With an inability to treat water, with no power, following the storm, many people are left suffering the heat, unable to shelter from it. A cruel after effect. And unfortunately, at the time of writing this script, Ida is still very active. She is still cleaving through the country. We will endeavor to update you on her progress, on the damage she's done, and official responses when they are available in detail. For now, however, I'm afraid this is all we can accurately say regarding the story. Please remember this report was written on the 1st of September 2021. New details may already be available. It is the recommendation of PANR that you supplement this report with other, more current reports for a more complete understanding of the current state of the situation. Meanwhile, we turn now to the looming threat of plague and pestilence, a disease which has stalked us for years now, changed the very nature of social interactions, and has become an integral part to not only how nations play their parts on the world stage, but how the common man plays their part in their community. We must discuss the ongoing pandemic of the COVID-19 virus and its ever-developing variations. Before we begin, in this segment we will be discussing the C12 variant. Our information is based on a preprint, not yet peer-reviewed paper. Research is still ongoing regarding this variant, research that takes time. Details may change over time as new information becomes available. We are covering this piece now to encourage you to be vigilant in regards to the ongoing pandemic. It is our hope to reinforce the fact that the pandemic is far from over, and that we must take precautions to keep ourselves, our loved ones, and our neighbors safe. We've included the paper we'll be referencing below with our sources. With that said, variant C12 was found in May of 2021 in the South African province of Mpumalanga and Gauteng. It is notable for being the most mutated variant of COVID-19 yet found, concerningly with many mutations associated with increased transmissibility and immune resistance. However, it is unknown how these mutations will affect the virus's behavior. In other variants with similar mutations, the mutations often work together to form a more powerful virus. It is just as likely, however, that the mutations within C12 won't have the same synergy, and may in fact weaken the virus. Thorough research on this matter must be completed, research which takes time. Dr. Megan Stein, a virologist and lecturer in immunology and infectious disease with the University of Sydney's Central Clinical School, went on to explain that, while concerns have been raised because of the particular mutations found in C12, mutations found in other variants of concern and variants of interest, VOCs and VOIs respectively, the strain should not be our chief concern. Saying, quote, "It contains quite a few key mutations that we see in other variants that have gone on to become variants of interest or concern. Anytime we see those particular mutations come up, we'd like to keep an eye on the variant to see what it's going to do. These mutations may affect things like whether it evades the immune response or transmits faster." Dr. Stein went on to say there's a chance that C12 may die out before ever becoming a serious issue, unable to compete with other, more established variants such as the Delta variant. While it is yet unknown if this variant can overcome the current vaccine or resistance built from prior infection, there is no cause to panic regarding C12 at this time. C12 has not yet met the requirements to be designated a VOI or VOC, and has infected only a small percent of the world. However, COVID-19 as a whole is a true and very real threat to our world, and is a cause for concern. According to the World Health Organization's website, as of Wednesday, the 1st of September 2021, at 16:50 Central European Standard Time, there are a total of 217,558,771 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the world. That is to include 4,517,240 deaths that have all been reported to the WHO. And as of the 30th of August 2021, there have been 5,019,907,027 vaccines administered. It is the recommendation of PANR that you remain vigilant, watch variations of the virus, and take every precaution you can to keep yourself and your loved ones safe. Over to you, Noodle.
The City of Madison is unveiling a plan to, in non-violent situations, send specialists instead of police to mental health calls. Madison's CARES, or Community Alternative Response to Emergency Situations team, will feature 2 paramedics and 2 representatives from the Journeys Mental Health Facility. Prior to Monday, all the calls were handled by Madison Police Department and a Fire Chief of Madison, Chief Steve Davis. Steve said that this has been a long time, personal and emotional project for everyone in the Madison Fire Department to get to the point where we are today. Before the pandemic, Dane County received more than 7,000 calls for mental health in a year. Henriksen says while Madison police have been integral to the mental health crisis through a specialised unit, unfortunately, often the presence of a well-trained officer can escalate a situation. Henriksen also commented on how armed police officer can show to some people a bad stigma, as the stereotype for a police officer is to reprimand and to stop people breaking the law with force. Hopefully this step forward and good idea should help reduce the amount of police officers away when they are needed, and should also help the people calling in as they get to see professional help. And it's that time again. Here are the noticeable deaths that have occurred in this past week. Unfortunately to say, we have lost these people. Greg Leakes, the Real Housewives of Atlanta Nene Leakes' husband, died of cancer on the 1st of September. Sarah Hartning, the Girls Aloud singer, died after a year-long battle with breast cancer on the 5th of September. We here at the team want to give our condolences to the family and fans of these wonderful people. And we also want to give our condolences to you, the viewers, in case you have lost anyone dear to you. We are so very sorry for your loss. Back to you, Seamus.
We must now turn our attention to the Middle East for our continuing coverage of the developing situation in Afghanistan. From the evacuation of the president to the scramble to remove citizens and service members, from the Panjshir Valley resistance to the UN Security Council, we followed events in Afghanistan to the best of our abilities. This week we must look once again at the airport in Kabul, and the horrific attack carried out Thursday, the 26th of August 2021. On that fateful day, at Abbey Gate of the Hamid Karzai International Airport, a man targeting those who aided the United States forces and interpreters detonated an explosive device, killing not only himself, but 169 civilians and 13 United States service members, wounding 18 additional U.S. service members who were evacuated shortly thereafter. Of the U.S. service members who perished, there were 11 Marines, 1 Navy sailor, and 1 Army soldier. The attack was claimed by Islamic State Khorasan, or ISIS-K. In claiming responsibility, ISIS-K said that their terrorists, quote, managed to reach a large gathering of translators and collaborators with the American Army at Baron Camp near Kabul Airport and detonated his explosive belt among them, killing about 60 people and wounding more than 100 others, including Taliban fighters. The attack, while a tragedy, is not a surprise. As it so happens, the Taliban had previously captured an ISIS-K fighter at the airport. Through interrogation, this fighter revealed certain information which led the Taliban to advise their leaders to avoid gathering. Shortly thereafter, the United States Embassy advised U.S. citizens to avoid the airport, and that those presently there should leave immediately, citing, quote, unspecified security threats. This suggests some amount of shared intelligence between the Taliban and the United States Embassy, though we are unable to find confirmation of this at this time. In response to the attack, President Joe Biden of the United States of America ordered military officials to prepare an assault on ISIS-K's leadership, assets, and facilities, saying, quote, "We will not forgive. We will not forget. We will hunt you down and make you pay." He went on to say, quote, "We will respond with force and precision at our time at a place we choose in a moment of our choosing." This event calls into question the Taliban's ability to perform counter-terrorist operations within Afghanistan, this being among the chief concerns of the UN Security Council, preceded only by the preservation of the human rights of the Afghani people. We have, in the past, reported that UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres stressed this point in a meeting of the UN Security Council on the 16th of August 2021, referring to this attack as especially abhorrent, as it targeted fleeing civilians. The Taliban are sworn enemies of ISIS-K, and they do condemn their actions at the airport. In a tweet, Taliban spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid said, "The Islamic Emirate strongly condemns the bombing of civilians at Kabul airport. Despite the attacks, the United States completed their withdrawal of all US forces on the evening of Monday, the 30th of August 2021, just shy of the 31st, a deadline that could not be crossed." Now, I would be remiss if we did not take a look at the strike on the airport on Sunday, the 29th of August 2021. This by the United States against ISIS-K. Targeting a vehicle suspected of being filled with explosives, the drone strike eliminated the vehicle. This vehicle posed an imminent threat to the airport according to US Central Command. However, in approaching the problem in this way, eliminating the imminent threat also led to the deaths of 10 innocent civilians. Among these included 7 children, a contractor affiliated with the US military, and an aid worker for an American charity. Such civilian collateral damage was not uncommon through the United States' stay in Afghanistan and will likely be the legacy remembered by the country.
That is all the stories that we have so far. So, we wish you a very happy night and a pleasant tomorrow. It's a good night from me. Good night. Good night from Seamus.
Good night.
And a good night from Ash.
Good night, everyone.
We'll see you next week, and remember, stay tuned for the latest goings on and stay safe.